If you've ever bought a game at full price and instantly regretted it, yeah, same here. That feeling where you play for an hour and already know you wasted your money. But these games, these are different. These are the ones you keep installed for years. The ones you randomly come back to at 2 a.m. and somehow still find something new to do. No regrets, no maybe later, just pure value every time you hit play. So in this video, I'm going through 12 open-world games that are actually worth every single penny, not just because they're big, but because they feel alive, addictive, and honestly hard to put down once you get into them. Some of these you already know, a few might surprise you, but every single one earns its price in a real way. Let's get into it. Wandering into Fallout 4 feels like stepping into a broken world that somehow still has stories hiding in every corner. Right from the start, there's this mix of loneliness and curiosity that pulls you in, and before you know it, you're ignoring the main mission just to explore one more abandoned building. The gunplay is smoother than older Fallout games, and the VAT system still gives those slow-motion moments that never get boring. But what really keeps you hooked is the freedom to build your own settlements, customize gear, and shape your character however you want. Some choices hit harder than expected, especially when you start picking sides and realizing there's no perfect outcome. It's not flawless, sure, but the amount of content here is insane, and the world constantly rewards you for just going off track and doing your own thing. And honestly, we're just getting started. It only gets better from here. Jumping into Metal Gear. Solid 5. The Phantom Pain feels completely different from most open-world games, and that's exactly why it stands out. Instead of throwing you into chaos, it gives you full control over how you want to approach every mission. You can go in guns blazing, sure, but the real fun starts when you slow things down, scout the area, mark enemies, and plan everything like a real tactical operation. There's something insanely satisfying about pulling off a perfect stealth run without being seen, and the game actually adapts to how you play, which makes it feel alive in a subtle way. The open world itself might seem quiet at times, but that silence builds tension, especially when you're sneaking through enemy territory at night. Add in base building, upgrading your gear, and recruiting soldiers, and suddenly you're not just playing missions, you're building your own army. It's one of those games where skill actually matters, and once it clicks, it's hard to stop playing. Exploring Watch Dogs 2 just feels fun in a way a lot of open-world games forget to be. From the moment you step into San Francisco, there's this bright, energetic vibe that makes you want to mess around with everything instead of taking things too seriously. Hacking isn't just a gimmick here, it's basically your main weapon, and once you start controlling traffic lights, hijacking cars, or taking down enemies without even stepping inside a building, it feels insanely satisfying. You can go full stealth, create chaos, or just troll NPCs for fun, and the game actually encourages that freedom. The characters feel more alive too, especially Marcus, who brings a more relaxed and playful energy compared to typical serious protagonists. It's not perfect, but the creativity in gameplay and the freedom it gives you make it one of those games you keep coming back to just to experiment and have a good time. And trust me, the next few games take things to a whole different level.
This gonna be hard. No, it ain't. Zap 'em. Let's go.
Running through Dying Light feels like pure adrenaline from the moment you take your first jump across rooftops. What makes it hit different is how natural the parkour feels, like you're not just moving through the world, you're flowing through it. During the day, you feel confident, taking out zombies, looting buildings, upgrading weapons. But the second night hits, everything changes. The tension kicks in, those stronger infected come out, and suddenly, you're not the hunter anymore. You're trying to survive. That day and night shift alone makes the game feel fresh every time you play. And then there's co-op, which somehow makes the chaos even more fun when you're running for your life with friends. It's one of those games where you don't just play it, you feel it, especially in those moments when you barely escape and just sit there thinking, yeah, that was close.
Me? Night Runner? I wish.
Getting into No Man's Sky is one of those experiences that feels calm at first and then suddenly becomes massive without you even realizing it. You start on a single planet, just trying to survive, gather resources, fix your ship, and then you lift off and it hits you. There are literally billions of planets out there, each one different, each one waiting to be explored. What's crazy is how much the game has improved over time. It went from something people were unsure about to a full-on space adventure packed with content. You can build bases, trade, explore alien worlds, or just fly around discovering weird creatures and landscapes that look completely unique. It's not about fast action, it's more about that slow, relaxing feeling of discovery, like you're part of something endless. And once you get into that loop, it's honestly hard to stop. And yeah, we're still not done. Some of the best ones are coming up next. Stepping into Kingdom Come, Deliverance feels less like playing a game and more like being dropped into real medieval life with no shortcuts. There's no overpowered hero here, no magic saving you when things go wrong. You start as a regular guy who can barely swing a sword properly. And that's what makes it so satisfying. Every skill you improve actually feels earned, whether it's learning how to fight, read, or even just survive basic encounters. The world itself is grounded and believable, with small details that pull you in, like how NPCs react to you based on your clothes or reputation. Combat can feel tough at first, even frustrating, but once it clicks, it becomes one of the most rewarding systems out there. It's slower, more realistic, and definitely not for everyone, but if you stick with it, it gives you an experience that feels way more personal than most open-world games. Causing chaos in Just Cause 4 is honestly one of those things that never gets boring no matter how many hours you put in. This game doesn't ask you to take it seriously at all, it just hands you a wingsuit, a grappling hook, and basically says, go have fun. And once you start combining all those tools, pulling enemies into explosions, launching cars into the air, or flying through storms, it turns into pure sandbox madness. The weather system adds another layer too, with tornadoes and extreme conditions making everything feel even more unpredictable. The story isn't really the main focus here, it's all about the gameplay and the freedom to create your own insane moments. It's the kind of game you jump into when you just want to relax, mess around, and enjoy over-the-top action without thinking too much. And yeah, we're getting close to the final stretch, and these last ones are seriously worth it. Swinging through New York in Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered just feels right in a way very few games manage to pull off. From the first moment you take that leap and start moving between buildings, it's hard not to smile because the movement is so smooth and natural. You don't even think about fast travel since just getting from one place to another is part of the fun. Combat has this nice flow to it too, where you're dodging, webbing enemies, and chaining attacks without it ever feeling clunky. But what really makes it hit is the story. It balances those big superhero moments with quieter, more personal scenes that actually make you care about the characters. You feel like Spider-Man, not just playing as him, and by the time you're deep into side missions, upgrading suits, and just exploring the city, it becomes one of those games you don't want to finish too quickly because you know you'll miss it. Diving into Subnautica starts off peaceful, almost relaxing, but that feeling doesn't last for long. At first, you're just swimming around, collecting resources, admiring the colors of the ocean, but then you go a little deeper, and suddenly it gets quiet in a way that feels uncomfortable. That's when the game really hits. There's no map holding your hand, no clear direction, just you figuring things out step by step. Building your base, upgrading your gear, and slowly pushing into darker, more dangerous areas creates this constant mix of curiosity and fear. And those moments when you hear something in the distance but can't see it yet. Yeah, that sticks with you. It's not just about survival, it's about exploring the unknown, and every time you go deeper, it feels like a risk. Just one more to go. And this last one is something special. Traveling across the world in Death Stranding sounds simple on paper, but once you actually start playing, it turns into something way more unique than you expect. At first, you're just walking, carrying cargo, trying not to trip over rocks, and it almost feels slow. But then it clicks, Every step starts to matter, every route becomes a decision, and even something as basic as balancing your load turns into gameplay. The world feels lonely in a very intentional way, and that quiet atmosphere pulls you in instead of pushing you away. What really makes it special is how it connects players without them ever meeting. You'll find structures, bridges, and tools left behind by others, and somehow it creates this shared experience that feels different from anything else. It's not for everyone, no doubt, but if it clicks with you, it becomes one of those unforgettable journeys that stays in your head long after you stop playing. There's something about Skyrim that just never gets old, no matter how many times you come back to it. You start off thinking you'll follow the main story, maybe become Dragonborn and save the world. But somehow you end up ignoring all that and just living your own life. One minute you're climbing snowy mountains, the next you're sneaking through a random cave you weren't even supposed to find. The freedom here is on another level. You can be a warrior, a mage, a thief, or just a guy who steals cheese from every house you visit. And the best part is, it never feels forced. Everything happens naturally, like the world doesn't need you, but it's way more interesting with you in it. Even after all these years, with mods, replayability, and just the pure vibe of exploring its world, it still feels like a game you can sink hundreds of hours into without even realizing it. Driving through the wasteland in Mad Max has this raw, gritty vibe that a lot of open-world games don't capture anymore. It's not about a busy map full of icons, it's about survival, upgrades, and building your car into an absolute beast. The vehicle combat is where the game really shines, chasing down enemies, smashing into them, using harpoons to rip parts off their cars. It just feels aggressive in the best way. On foot, the combat is simple but satisfying, especially when you're clearing out enemy camps and slowly taking control of the wasteland. What makes it worth your money is how addictive that loop becomes. Upgrade your car, take on tougher enemies, explore new areas, and repeat. But it never really feels boring because the world and gameplay keep pushing you forward. It's one of those underrated games that surprises you the more time you spend with it. And that's the list. These are the kind of open-world games that don't just look big, they actually give you a reason to stay. You're not just buying them, you're investing hours, sometimes hundreds, and actually enjoying that time instead of feeling like it was wasted. Now I'm curious, which one of these did you enjoy the most? Or is there a game you think deserved to be on this list? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this, you already know what to do, there's more coming.